Hey Shackers! Welcome back to another episode of This Week in Switch 2. The episode they said make it past 3 episodes, and now we're like at, I don't know, 19 or something? I
Something
quit
like that.
I quit putting the date at the end of the titles, because these are such news-packed episodes that I run out of characters on YouTube. But yeah, this is our second week of posting the podcast as an audio podcast, so thanks to everyone who's listening to this on the various audio podcast platforms. Keep doing that if you want to, but we're also posting it here. And shout out to everyone who checked out Donovan's preview of Pokemon Legends ZA, which we broke out from this podcast, put some gameplay on top of it, threw it up on our YouTube channel. So shout out to everyone who is discovering this podcast, either through vertical videos, through clips, through whatever else we're doing. We appreciate you all taking the time to listen to this weekly show, which is sometimes more than once a week, depending on the news. I think this week we might have another episode. I'm your host, Asif Khan. I'm CEO, Editor-in-Chief, EIEIO of Shacknews. That stands for Extremely Intelligent Extreme Intelligence Officer, which there's a deficit of intelligence in the United States right now. So extreme intelligence is very valuable, and it's designed to increase the valuation of Shacknews. It's already working. We're a privately held company. That's a tease for something later. So, our private shareholders are very happy about extreme intelligence. But yeah, I'm joined by my co-hosts right now. We got Donovan Erskine, our news editor here.
Oh,
Fortnite expert.
hell yeah.
And we have our long reads editor, reviewer of Super Mario Galaxy 1+2, David Kravik is here.
Let's go.
Wahoo! Yeah. Let's go right into it, David. You played, actually, you know what? Sorry. We have some breaking news. We have a Doug Bowser alert. Something happened in the world of Doug Bowser, and it's kind of crazy. He's retiring.
Doug Bowser, like he's a franchise.
He's retiring, Donovan. He is a franchise.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read the announcement. He tweeted it as Doug Bowser is a prolific tweeter, right? We can say that much about him. He may not show up in Nintendo Directs very often, but he shows up on Twitter to tell us about hats, or sometimes he retweets a Donkey Kong thing. Occasionally he posts a Bowser meme of some sort. He said, "Today I announced my plan to retire from Nintendo. Effective December 31st, 2025, Nintendo has been an integral part of my life for 44 years, starting with Donkey Kong Arcade as a kid in college." I can appreciate that. "It has been an honor to contribute to this incredible company and bring our beloved characters and worlds to fans throughout our video games, theme parks, and movie experiences. I extend my best wishes to Devin Pritchard as she leads Nintendo of America forward, and I thank all of you for your passion and support of Nintendo, and you can count on me to remain a Nintendo fan." So yeah, kind of the other part of this news is that Nintendo of America has a woman president for the first time in the company's history. So congratulations to Devin Pritchard. I'm now going to complain about everything to you. So when you don't give me a release date for a game, it's your fault. When you don't,
The rumor has it she's already wiretapped your house.
I think there's just like a transfer of wiretap that occurs at Nintendo. So Reggie passed it on to Doug. Doug's gonna pass it on to Devin. Devin will ultimately pass it on to me because I'm the next. Right. I'm next, right? Because I got passed up for this. This is messed up, guys. This is now twice. Nintendo had an opportunity to make me president of Nintendo of America, and they didn't. I can only assume one thing about this. I am being groomed to be not president of Nintendo of America, but the CEO of the whole company. So, Furukawa-san's doing a great job in Japan. I have no complaints right now. So if he wants to run it for, I don't know, however long, until I'm done here at Shacknews, I guess, I'll take over after that. And maybe Nintendo of America is just too small of a pond for me. And, I'm a more global ambassador of Nintendo than I am America-focused, right? So maybe down the road, I'm going to have to go post up in Kyoto. But yeah, congratulations to Doug Bowser. We never really figured out what you do, but we appreciate whatever it was. And like, he was involved in things like the IP expansion project that Iwata put forth, where like, they made these movies, they made these mobile games, some of them suck, some of them are great. They did the amusement parks, which are really cool.
Stuff, yeah.
And all the merchandising stuff, like he has been a large part of that. I saw one of my followers, a mutual from F-Zero Twitter, mentioned that Doug really did a lot to bring Nintendo games to South America, localizing them specifically in Brazil. So
Okay.
shout out to Doug on actually seeing that market, and probably from his experience at Electronic Arts, knowing that that's a huge market that's kind of untapped by Nintendo still to this day. So shout out to Doug for like leading that effort to localize games for Brazilian players and everyone in South America. I do think that's like a mission of this 21st century Nintendo, to bring their games to more people, to bring their intellectual property to more people than ever before. And I think he did a good job on that front. So I know I make a lot of jokes about Doug Bowser on this show. I'm sad that I'm going to run out of Doug Bowser jokes, but I am excited about the future of Devin Pritchard jokes.
The Doug Bowser Nintendo tenure is so interesting, right? Because when it comes to like executives and CEOs and presidents of companies, like you have your guys that are very like outward public facing people, right? Like your Reggie Fils-Aimé, who's like, famous for like making jokes and being in Nintendo Directs, and like everyone knew who Reggie was. And to even extend that to the other studios, you look at like a Randy Pitchford and like these executives, the ones that are on Twitter that tweet all day that people feel like they know. Then you've got like the rest of them who are like private executives who are like, in the business meetings, they'll tweet a press release and give a quote when an announcement is made, and that's it. And that's who Doug Bowser was. That doesn't mean that he didn't do a lot for that company, but I think there was just such a shift going from Reggie Fils-Aimé, who gave us like endless quotes and memes and like memorable on-stage moments, and I've got to get back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS, to Doug Bowser, who like would come out of the shadows like once a calendar year to give like a PR quote about an announcement of a game, and then he would like slink back into the darkness. But I think he did a lot for the company. I mean, you outlined it there in your speech there, Asif. But even like, I think overseeing the back half of that Switch generation and the launch of the Switch 2 this year,
Yeah.
and obviously, Greg and I got to run into Doug Bowser at the opening of Epic Universe in Orlando earlier this year. What they've done with those theme parks, I think, has been really astonishing. So, what, a 7 or 6 year tenure as a president of Nintendo of America, but seemed like he was pretty busy throughout.
I would
It's
say
just a shame.
sorry, go ahead, Dave.
It's a shame that they didn't do more with him. Not only because of the obvious joke of his name, like he could have been a Bowser ambassador, right?
Yeah.
But like Nintendo, to piggyback on what Donovan said, Nintendo just feels like a less personable company overall. Like directs are just kind of a slideshow of announcements and trailers, whereas we used to have Iwata-san kind of hosting them, emceeing, often with Reggie. And I don't know, Nintendo just, there's not really a face of the company unless Shigeru Miyamoto is involved in a direct. Even their developers will show up in directs, but it's just to kind of present their game and then go away again. So it's just, this is kind of a continuation of the era of a very non-personable Nintendo to me. Would you agree with that also?
Yes, and I would say that Furukawa, the CEO of Nintendo, kind of laid out that culture that I'm not going to be that guy who's wearing the silly outfit on the direct. Like that's going to be Koizumi or like some of these younger dudes. Like I feel like your point about the silliness of the directs is really sound, David, in that when the directs started, they were this experimental thing. No one else in the industry was doing it at the time. They were all still doing their suit and tie E3 presentations or their GDC talks, right? Where Nintendo was the first company to be like, yeah, we're still going to be at E3. We're going to have this great booth. And yeah, we'll do Treehouse Live, but we're not going to do a traditional press conference anymore. And I think we only had like the Nintendo Switch 1 presentation. Like that was an actual press conference in Japan. But outside of that, and that also aired as a direct, right? But like outside of that, it's all become very packaged, pre-produced, and prim and proper, which is weird because the original directs were so goofy, right? You had Miyamoto and Iwata wearing Luigi hats and, pretending to have like the poltergust, right? Or that awesome E3 opening with Miyamoto, Iwata, and Reggie, and they all turn into Star Fox characters, like Muppet style. The fight scene between Iwata and Reggie, where they showed off Smash for Wii U, like all those awesome memes are kind of gone now. And I was at the April 2nd press event for the Nintendo Switch 2 launch earlier this year. And I kind of got there, I was later in the line, so I was kind of in the back of the room for it. So I was sitting in the back center, right on the aisle. And to my right were Doug Bowser and Furukawa-san. So I got to like kind of watch them react to the direct. And it was really interesting to see that, because like I could tell Doug Bowser was like nervous, right? They all had this like there's this vibe about Nintendo right now that they're like not sure if they're going to succeed, or they don't have this arrogance to them that I think they had after the Wii as a company. Like, I think they were kind of full of themselves. And they're like, oh, we'll just throw a U at the end of it. It's going to sell plenty. And then they fell flat on their face with the Wii U. And even the launch of the 3DS went extremely poorly at first. But, like, it felt like Doug never felt like he was bigger than the company. And I think that's true of Furukawa as well. So that has led to this, like, less fun Nintendo. But also, like, they're clearly, as a company, more focused on IP expansion, movies, like making money, right? Things that I think they were less motivated by in the past. They're always a company that wants to like surprise and delight their fans with unexpected and cool things. But like even something like the Switch 2 is less of a revolution as the Switch 1, and it is weird. And from my understanding, I don't think Devin Pritchard's going to be on camera very much either. Although she has been at the company for like 20 years, senior level VP of marketing. So she understands, I think, the job ahead of her. And I'm excited. I think like, yeah, on the surface, whatever, it's a check the box thing. And maybe some of those idiots on Twitter will be like, oh, DEI hire. But like, she's been at the company for 20 years. And I think this is great for a Japanese company to have a woman on the board, an American woman on the board of directors at Nintendo. Like, that's a great thing. So
He's a Pikmin fan. So there you go. Cross your fingers, Pikmin fans. I saw people calling that out.
That's fantastic news. I mean, Pikmin's a lovely game. We did get Pikmin 4 not that long ago, Donovan, so I don't think we're going to get a Pikmin 5 anytime soon. But maybe, like, you remember those Pikmin shorts, David, that, like, they made for, I don't know, were they on 3DS or something? Like, they were, like, weird short videos.
Yeah, and you had there was a Pikmin game for mobile as well.
Yeah, Pikmin Bloom. That's right.
Yeah, Pikmin Bloom. Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, there's some IP expansion going on that front. But yeah, like, I am interested to see how they handle her role at the company, and if she will be more public facing than Doug Bowser. Because to your point, Donovan, he was not out in front very often. And then like we got like one interview with him this year with CNBC where he was talking about like, I think it was game key cards and a couple other things at the time, the price of the system, the price of the games. It was the variable pricing of the games, right?
Yeah.
Where those weren't great moments, honestly, for him.
Wasn't a great quote. No, that one created more confusion than there was before. Yeah.
Oddly enough, senior editor Ozzy Mejia interviewed Doug Bowser before he became president of Nintendo of America. So we actually, if you can dig it up on the Shacknews.com website using whatever chatbot will lie to you, you'll find an interview from Ozzy with Doug Bowser. So we proved that he did exist. And then earlier this year, you and Greg actually met him at the Epic Universe launch, right?
Yeah, we ran into him in the Nintendo, like the store outside of Super Nintendo World at Orlando, like right before they cut the ribbon and opened it. Yeah, he was buying merch. He was there and he was talking about like being able to fit all the stuff in his bags to fly back home. And yeah, we just talked to him about opening the park and Shacknews and all that good stuff.
And how he's a devout listener to the podcast. Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's great. But yeah, I'm happy for him that he gets to retire. I hope it's like a real retirement, like not like a hey, I'm retiring and then he pops up on another company, or God forbid
You
he
never
ends
know,
up
yeah.
God forbid he ends up on the GameStop board of directors like Reggie did for
Okay,
that
no,
that
don't.
month. What a fever
Don't
dream
follow
that
that
was.
trajectory. Yeah.
But
Also,
yeah, go ahead, Donovan.
I was gonna say the timing of this is very clean. So he retires December 31st, and Devin Pritchard takes over January 1st. So they're
Yeah.
just picking straight up into 2026, new year, new leadership.
And this time it's not an outside hire. Like Doug was, he was at Nintendo, but he came from Electronic Arts. Like Devin Pritchard has been at Nintendo for a while, and she worked with Satoru Iwata, and she works with Miyamoto, and Furukawa-san, and like everyone else at the company. The there was another sorry, I can't remember. What was the other? There's like some other news, like the CEO of Nintendo of America. Did you guys see that?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe it was somebody from Japan is coming over. Another long time Nintendo executive, which I thought was interesting. That they're gonna split duties there.
It's escaping me now. But yeah, like Satoru Shibata is taking over. He's going to be the CEO of Nintendo of America, and Devin Pritchard will be the president of Nintendo of America. Yeah. So Satoru Shibata has had a wild run at Nintendo. He's been president of Nintendo of Europe. I think he was like he's had different roles at Nintendo Ltd in Kyoto, but he's kind of always just been around doing things. So it's like it's interesting to see him now at Nintendo of America.
And to our point earlier about like executives and them being, public facing and that quirky era of Nintendo, that's where like Shibata comes from. He's like saying karaoke in commercials. He did like the video where he shows off his like 3DS collection.
Yep.
He's done a bunch of that that kind of content.
So I hope that is a sign that maybe Devin Pritchard won't be like the public facing goofball, but maybe he will. And I agree with your point earlier, David, that like Nintendo is missing that right now. And it sometimes shows up when Miyamoto appears, those are my favorite directs lately, is when we get to hear Mr. Miyamoto talk about things, because he's a genius. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think, like you said, Dom, and this is obviously planned. It's gonna happen next, at a very scheduled moment. I would say a very important moment for the company, though. We are entering the second year of the Switch 2 and the launch of the second Mario movie. So there's a lot on their plate next year. And obviously the upcoming release of the F-Zero game, right? Like there's like so many things they got to deal with over there. Right. That's actually probably going to be the thing. I'm drafting Devin Pritchard. You have been drafted. You are now part of F-Zero Twitter. I don't even know if you have a Twitter account, but now you're now part of us. We have assimilated you. You are our only hope, Devin Pritchard. And, everyone over at Nintendo in Japan. But, yeah, we wanted to start with that news because, I know Doug Bowser has kind of been a meme here at our podcast, but, like, it's big news. It's big news. And I'd say he, without being as publicly facing, Dom, and to your point, and David, to your point, like, I think he did a pretty good job. Like, what it was, some people may never know, but he did a good job of it. And yeah, it was really interesting to see him sweating during that Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, in April, because, it would be like sitting next to the president of a company, like watching the Direct, like watching Tim Cook watch an Apple presentation. It's kind of like that. So I was looking left and right, like I was like, okay, I'm watching this, and I'm looking over there. I'm watching this, and I'm looking over there. I like seeing them, because like in the room when the Donkey Kong Bonanza reveal happened, people were going kind of nuts. Like the journalists in attendance were like, "Whoa, that's wild," and I could like tell they were happy about that. And then like at the end of it, there was this murmur in the crowd, like, "What does this thing cost?" Like no one knew what the price was, right? Yeah. And like you could see just like a kind of a stone cold impression on his face where he was just kind of like, Yep. And then he just kind of Homer Simpson into the bushes. Like, I don't think they were even sitting at the end of it. They were like standing in the back by the end of the presentation. So yeah, we tip our caps and fedora to you, and our fedoras to you, Doug Bowser, for, you know, a hell of a run and a successful announcement of the Metroid Prime 4 Beyond release date.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which this whole podcast was basically built around me asking Doug Bowser for a Metroid Prime 4 Beyond release date. Now we have one, December 4th. Looking forward to it. Hopefully like, I don't know if there's another direct between now and the end of the year, but like, Reggie's farewell was like shot at his desk. It was a video. Like, this is just a tweet. It's weird.
It's
fitting
different.
It's a fitting end.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something. I'll make like a hype reel or like a thank you reel for Doug Bowser. I'll put it to Boys to Men. It'll be emotional. It'll be like the last episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Not really, but because like what video highlights do I have? Like the one direct he was on.
It's like those memes when people are like,
The CNBC
players'
interviews?
highlights starting now, and then it's like, thanks for watching. As soon as the video starts.
His 3 CNBC interviews, the one time he talked to Bloomberg, and then that one direct he was in. Like, anyway, moving on to the big story of the week. David, you've been playing Super Mario Galaxy 1+2. These games are delightful. I hold them as some of the best platforming ever, unlike Donkey Kong Bonanza. So, sorry, Donkey Kong, I didn't mean to throw some shade at you there, but
He got a stray.
he's gonna catch a stray when we're talking about these masterpieces. I would say one is maybe a masterpiece. The other one is a revolutionary game. So, David, your review is going to be up by the time this podcast goes live. What do you want to tell the folks at home about Mario Galaxy 1+2?
You know, whether you played these on the Wii or whether this is your first exposure to them, these are both definitely must-buys. If you can only pick one, pick Mario Galaxy 2, because I think it is the better game, and I go into why in my review. But Mario Galaxy 1, you know, I gave this package a 10 out of 10. You can buy them separately, but and I just think it's because the platforming is immaculate. You've got the typical tight controls of a Mario game. You've got these wild and experimental worlds to play in, all of them gravity defying, physics defying. They're just the game is just colorful. The art direction is on point. There's a sense of whimsy and adventure to everything that you do. And, you know, Mario Galaxy 2 adds Yoshi, which opens up a whole new kind of suite of options for you as far as platforming goes. They're just super fun games. They're as fun now as they were back in 2007 and 2010. And I was glad to see that they held up. I played them with the Joy-Con and with the Pro Controller. I had more fun with the Pro Controller just because I'm a standard controller guy, and you do a little bit of waggling like to pick up the star bits. But it's not, you know, you're not shaking like crazy like you were with the Wii, right? Even with the Joy-Con, you can just make slight movements with your wrists. And I was just super impressed. I mean, the games are in 4K now if you play in docked mode. Just super fun games that hold up really, really well, as Mario games tend to do.
So
honestly.
You brought up Waggle, which is like the bane of my existence, but at the same time, you said that it's like kind of understated Waggle. Yeah. Here's a question about the Wii that I have for both of you. Do you think that like it was a combination of the poor accelerometer in the controllers, or were people just so new to the concept that they were like overreacting to things, like swinging wildly in tennis, or, you know, you could just bowl by going like boop, but people like do the whole motion, right? Like, it just, I think it was such a new way to play that people were like
more intuitive. It's more intuitive, right? Like if you bowl, you're not going to just go like this. You're going to rear back, and roll that ball. You know, so I think I think people, and Donovan might have a different take on this, but I feel like when people picked up that controller and said, you know, oh, move, make motions, they probably just exaggerated because that felt natural to them.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
But yeah, I think you hit it on the head there, David. That's exactly what it was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that it was new. Most people hadn't played or used motion controls in a video game system. The Wii brought in a lot of non-traditional gamers who didn't even know how to use a regular controller, let alone the very weird and intuitive Wiimote. My parents, you know, If they're learning how to Wii Bowl, I'm like, hey, just swing it like you swing a bowling ball, and they're just gonna go and swing their arms out because they're not thinking about it the way we do. So yeah, I think that's probably why a lot of people threw their remotes at their TV screens and walls.
Wii
back in
Sports
2005.
Wii Sports got my mom playing video games again. Like,
Yep.
and she's in her 70s now, but at the time, whatever, she was like in her late 50s or whatever. But like, still, like, she had fallen off of games. Both my parents, like, they were into games, like, in the early, like, arcade kind of days. Also, like, Breakout, David, like those dedicated game devices that would just be one game that you could plug into your TV.
Yeah.
Like, they were into that. And then once all the buttons showed up, they're like, we can't do this anymore. We don't know what's going on. There's too many buttons. So, like, the Wii was this, like, huge move back to the blue ocean and, like, opened the door for all this stuff. So it's cool to see that it translates well. The spirit of the Wii is alive and well in the Switch with the Joy-Con.
Oh yeah.
But it's not, like... We haven't seen anything use motion and like achieve that level of holy crap success of Wii Sports.
It's been optional. Like, I really liked the gyroscope in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Like, I would only use the bow that way. I would never use the stick.
Same,
to aim.
yeah.
Yeah, like, it's just so precise using the controller. But to your point, Asif, there were no games like, I guess, Switch. What is it called? Switch 1+2 or that 1-2 Switch?
Yeah, 1-2 Switch.
1-2 Switch. Probably like that, or maybe Welcome Tour, just to get you to do stuff that you wouldn't ordinarily do. But it's mostly been more conventional controls.
Or like ARMS. I think ARMS in the original Switch, or Drag and Drive in this generation of Switch 2. Like, none of them have achieved escape velocity like Wii Sports did. And obviously, Wii Sports was a pack-in, and that had a lot to do with its success and the virality of the Wii that first year. Because it did, like, it kicked the door down, and it's like, we're blue oceaning the fuck out of this generation. And they really did. And I guess it's hard to hit the blue ocean every single time. I think that with Switch, they went back to their core gamers. And, like, they have this device now that does both. So it's like, hey, you want to play motion games? You want to play Just Dance? You still can, right? But then there's also, here's this new way to play it. And now we have a camera that is going to... I think the camera's not done yet. Like, there's still going to be more stuff introduced with the Switch 2 and the camera over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, exciting, dude. 10 out of 10. Like, we were talking about this before. And obviously, like, Resident Evil 4 Remake was like a proper remake. These are more remasters, right?
Remasters, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But in both respects, these are the original RE4 is a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. The GameCube release of that, flawless. And I feel that way about the new RE4, which my brother lovingly calls Bear Trap, because I am like I'm like the opposite of a speedrunner in that game. I'm like doing the Bear Trap only run. So if there's a bear trap, I'm going to step on it somehow. Usually when I'm backing away from something, trying to run away. But when we were talking about it this morning and even over the weekend, David, you were just like, I think you're like, Mario Galaxy might be a 9, but Galaxy 2 is a 10. And I'm like, you can't, like, you don't get Galaxy 2 without Galaxy 1. You don't get Tears of the Kingdom without Breath of the Wild, right? And I think that is a fair comparison here, where, like, Breath of the Wild was like, here's what the Switch can do. And then Tears was like, here's what the Switch really can do. Here is our final vision. And I think you mentioned it in your review. I wanted to break out that quote that you said, because
Mario Galaxy is a toolbox, and Galaxy 2 is them just going wild with the tools.
Yes. I 100% agree with that sentiment. Is that in that, like, Galaxy 1, if you haven't played Galaxy 1, play it, because it is revolutionary. You're coming off of Mario Sunshine, which some people like, some people don't. I love. But Galaxy was like, what? They're doing what with this system? Because the Wii was viewed as underpowered, right? And they were doing stuff that no one had ever done in a platformer. So it was so cool. And like you mentioned, the physics engine that they created was amazing for the time. And it was visually some of the most impressive graphics we had seen from Nintendo. And it was that whole, hitting above their weight class kind of thing. Because this was like still 4:3 aspect ratio, 640 or 480p or whatever. Like it wasn't high fidelity yet, but it looked amazing. And now it looks outstanding. Like these screenshots that you put in your review, I was just like, this game is gorgeous. And I love to see that. Like that Nintendo's art style really does transfer extremely well over time. Their art direction is outstanding, and they do more with less a lot of the time. I think that I keep bringing these up, but I think it's a fair comparison. I think the Switch 2 editions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom highlight this, where those games were beautiful on Switch 1, but man, they look amazing on Switch 2 in 4K and at 60 FPS. So it's cool to see both these games get that kind of treatment.
It's also this is more impressive to me than I think a lot of Wii U to Switch ports, because the Wii U was already a high def system.
Yeah.
Like I love Super Mario 3D World, but on Switch, like I bought it because I wanted to try Bowser's Fury and I wanted to replay 3D World. But, that game already looked great. These are Wii games, like you said, coming from the SD era and now making the jump to HD and 4K. It's just that's commonly been the complaint about Nintendo, at least back in the day, right? Like their mechanics and systems were so inventive, but their graphics held them back for the hardcore graphics nerds out there. That's no longer the case with these games, and they're worth replaying even if you play them back in the day.
It's been long enough for me, because like I think you said Galaxy 2 released in like 2010.
Yeah.
That was a different era in my life. I was a little busier. I had an investment advisory business that was getting off the ground as the recession was still we're just barely getting out of the recession at the time. I was adulting. So I didn't I didn't get to 100% that game or anything. I played through it and I was like, this is delightful. I love Yoshi. Every Mario game that gives me a Yoshi, I'm just ecstatic. So getting Yoshi in this game was huge. What they do with Yoshi, I think, unlocks a whole different slew of platform challenges and power-ups and how Yoshi interacts with the environment. So I love all that. I'm very excited to play Galaxy 2. I did like 100% Galaxy 1 and all that back in the day, so I'm not as excited to get that. And I also bought the 3D All-Stars package, so I already have Mario Galaxy. We already have Mario Galaxy at home, but the $40 for Galaxy 2, like, I'm not mad at paying for it. Like, I'll do that. And I know that that's like a narrative people are mad about because it's the internet in 2025. But I think $40 for this is not that crazy. If you haven't bought it before, I think it's like kind of a no-brainer purchase in this year that we don't have a Mario platform. We don't have a new Mario platformer because we got Donkey Kong Bonanza. So for those fans that are like kind of itching for that pixel perfect platforming perfection, this is for you, right?
Yes.
If you want to go in the mosh pit that is Donkey Kong Bonanza, by all means, I enjoy it. But it's not this. Like, these are very different games. I think they can both coexist very well on your Switch 2 library. That's awesome. But yeah, 10 out of 10 at Shacknews. It's becoming less rare, but still very rare. And back, I think, were you at Shack when Galaxy 1 came out?
No, I was not.
Okay. We didn't even have review scores back then. So this is a game that didn't get a proper review score at Shacknews. So I think it's great that we can teleport into the future here, waggle a little bit, and give it a 10 out of 10. It does make
that's something
me...
I was actually debating with you this morning. Like, should I do two separate reviews? I didn't really want to because they'd be kind of similar.
Yeah.
But it makes sense to review these as a package. But even then, like, it's not like I would give one a 9 and one a 10. Like, they're both these versions are both 10 out of 10 games.
Yeah. And obviously we got like new chapter entries in Rosalina's book. The soundtrack feature where you can just play the music in the game, like a jukebox kind of thing. A lot of these songs are already on Nintendo Music as well. And let me just say, like, I don't think you even mentioned it in your review because it's just obvious at this point, but like Super Mario Galaxy's soundtrack is,
oh yeah,
like the best.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe the best Mario soundtrack ever. Like
I would get on board with that, especially Galaxy 2. Like the music, there's a larger variety of music in the sequel. I think
it's so good that they put it in the credits scene for the Mario movie, even though there's barely any reference to Galaxy in that movie. Like, Brian Tyler's like, can I put Galaxy music in this part? Just the credits? They're like, sure. And now looking back, like, it was a teaser for the next movie, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, it's obvious that they're releasing these at this time ahead of the Mario Galaxy movie, because the Mario Galaxy movie effect is going to take hold of the world, and it'll lead to these games selling more. So it makes sense that they're doing this. Are we gonna get more Wii remasters now? Like, are we gonna get Twilight Princess?
When you think about it, like Twilight Princess would be great, and that's still marooned on the Wii U along with Wind Waker HD.
Yeah,
but we did get Skyward Sword. What was that? A few years ago. And the Switch makes sense for that because you can use the Joy-Con like the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. But they're also showing that you don't have to. There are more conventional control schemes too.
Also, I think they wanted people to play Skyward Sword to give them like an idea about the Zonai and like these things that ended up being story bits and tiers, right? I think like that was part of it. But yeah, like complete the circle, Nintendo. Like give us a 4K Wind Waker. Like, or this is crazy, but what if they just did that again? Like a cel-shaded Zelda in 4K, like a new adventure, like Echoes of Wisdom style, like just make a new game. What a concept.
That'd be awesome.
Because that art style is outstanding. That art style really, it holds up. Your review makes me want to review Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition for Shacknews, David. I'm gonna just throw it out there.
You should, because that's a 10 out of 10 game.
That's a great injustice at Shacknews. It may be this like one sentence. Like I may just give it the review score, send it to Metacritic. It'll just be one sentence. Like it'll just be like, I had to do it. Like I reviewed Tears of the Kingdom. I gave that a 10 out of 10. I think it's honestly one of the best I think it might be the best video game ever made. But I have very fond memories of both Galaxy 1 and 2, and it's exciting to see these come back and be solid value. Like they're actually good. And there's a ton of people, man. Like you think back, like 15 years since Galaxy 2 released, 18 years since Galaxy 1 released. There's a large group of gamers that weren't even born when these games came out. Yeah. This is your chance to try them for the first time, and I think they're worth trying. I think people are gonna have a good time. Donovan, did you play these back in the day?
I played a little bit of both of them when they came out on Wii. We had both of those when they came out. I don't think I ever beat either of them, but I remember playing with my brother.
Interesting. Well, anything else, David, or have we hit the topic?
I think you brought up a great point. Like in a world where we don't have a new 3D Mario platformer on the newest Nintendo system, I think that Galaxy 1 and 2 are it, specifically 2. And I keep highlighting this game because this is the first re-release of Galaxy 2. This is what a lot of people, if you remember when 3D All-Stars came out, people were like, where's Galaxy 2?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
And this is that game now. You know, this is what I think if you want some solid 3D platforming, this is the game to get. But if you can't go wrong with both of them.
I know this hat is not made out of tinfoil, but having played both of these games back to back here in the last week or so, David, do you think we could get a Super Mario Galaxy 3?
I don't think so. I think it'd be very rare for Nintendo to count to 3 again with Mario games like they did. I mean, the last time that happened was NES, I'm pretty sure.
And it was a banger!
And it was a banger. It was a banger. It was. But I feel like they want to do something
new.
Kind of different. I think there's better odds that we'll get a Galaxy 2 or an Odyssey 2 before a Galaxy 3. I'll say that.
I mean, I think Donovan's pal, who did not like Donkey Kong, would probably be very stoked if they got an Odyssey 2.
He was very disappointed in that game, and yeah, he wanted an Odyssey 2. I want an Odyssey 2. I love Odyssey.
Odyssey's great. You know what I really loved? I loved Bowser's Fury. And whatever the hell that was, give me that again. Because that game was cool and different, David, right? Like that was an open world Mario game. Which I think that like with Donkey Kong Bonanza, it wasn't open world, but it was like open zones, right? Yeah, I'm just where we go from here for the Mario franchise is it's a very interesting question. Is all I'll say. Like I don't know. I don't know where we're going. What are some other Wii games that we want to be given this treatment though before we move on? Like are there any other ones that stick out to you that you're like that should have a Switch 2 version?
I can't remember what it was called, but there was a really fun Kirby game that I think supported up to 4 players. I can't remember what it was called, but I would love to see that come over because more Kirby is a good thing. And I'm not thinking of the one on DS where you would like draw platforms and stuff for.
Return to Dreamland? No.
I don't think so.
Let's see.
You're talking about Epic Yarn, are you?
Epic Yarn. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
I mean, it's the year of Kirby, so if there was ever a time to do this, it would be at least announce it. Or Devin Pritchard next year. Like, come on. Epic Yarn remaster. Get on it.
Yeah.
See, I'm already putting her to work. She's not even president of Nintendo of America yet, and I'm already complaining. Yeah, I'm. You're never gonna say, "Hey, we should have more Kirby games," and hear me say no to that, David. So I agree with that.
Right.
I'm trying to think, like, what are some Wii games that we would be like, huh?
I mean, we got Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
Which was GameCube. So I guess I'm thinking Metroid Prime 3.
2.
Do we have that? Are 2 and 3 on Switch?
No.
I don't think so. No, they're not.
No, they should. Doug Bowser, what are you doing? Drop the ball there in your last year as president.
The Wii was interesting because there was like a glut of games on that system, but Nintendo would still kind of drip feed first party games.
Yeah.
So I can't really think of it. I think out of any game, Galaxy 1 and 2 were the ones that deserve to come over, and we have those now.
I guess Twilight Princess is the other one that's sticking out to me.
Yeah.
Or Punch Out. No, that game kind of sucked. Excite Truck? No?
No, I don't think so.
Look, I'm like going in the Rolodex of first party Wii games that I actually owned, and I'm like, huh, there weren't a lot. And also, like,
this would actually be good, like, if we could throw it to the comments, like, what Wii games you want to see on Switch and Switch 2, because I'm sure people could, like, we're thinking first party, right? But there's probably a bunch of third party stuff that would do well.
Red Steel. No?
No.
It was
Maybe
Fruit
2.
Ninja.
It was better.
It was Fruit Ninja before Fruit Ninja.
That's true.
Anyway. Cool. Exciting times for Mario fans, which I am one. You know what would be a nice Mario game, by the way? Super Mario Maker 3. What are they doing? What are you guys doing?
You guys got to wait a little longer to kind of upend the tea table at the Game of the Year awards again. Also,
they're gonna wait until. So go ahead.
There's that fraction of a second during the last Nintendo Direct where they started with the Mario Anniversary segment, and the first thing they show you were like the old schematics and sketch. Yeah, it was like graph paper with like Mario icons on there, and I've watched multiple reactions where people are like, "Super Mario Maker," but no.
Yeah, Grand Pooh Bear was doing his charity stream where it's called Kaizo Coliseum, where he invites a bunch of Mario speedrunners, and they raised a ton of money for charity. It was awesome. But they did like a live react to the Direct. And it was like 20 Mario speedrunners. And that when that graph paper came up, they're like, Mario Maker 3! And then they're like, aw.
Yeah.
Because, like, I felt the same way when I was watching it, Don. And I was like, is this...
I did too.
I was like, are we getting... No. You know what? No. That's a game, though, that, like, that's a year 3 of your system kind of game. They need an addressable market that's larger than a launch year. It's not a system seller. But it is the kind of thing that, like, is just infinite free content on social media for them. And it kind of fills that hype cycle around. We do have, like, Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition coming. So it's not like this is the only... You know, because, David, I was reading your review, and like, hey, you're like, it's very rare where you don't get more than one Mario game in a generation. And I was like, did we get more on the Switch? And I was like, oh, yeah, Wonder. Like, Wonder and Galaxy kind of bookended it like Breath of the Wild and Tears did for Zelda. And Wonder is outstanding. So I'm excited to play that as well. Folks at home, let us know, what Wii games do you want to see come to the Switch 2?
Do you realize that once they add Super Mario Sunshine... no, this isn't exactly true. I was going to say, it would be cool if you could play every Mario game ever made on the Switch. Like, they're missing Super Mario Sunshine, which will come to Nintendo Switch GameCube Online.
Yeah.
But I don't think they have like I don't know if on Game Boy they have Mario Land 1 and 2, but like you can play almost every Mario game ever made on the Switch, which
Like
is pretty damn cool.
like a double Infinity Gauntlet kind of situation going on.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
The Switch is kind of, I don't know. In the long arc of time, is it the GOAT Nintendo console?
Yes. I would say it is. I would say it is because of the variety of games, not just first party, but like the like there was one day where I went from like Dark Souls to Diablo 2 to Super Mario 3D World to Tears of the Kingdom. Like the variety and breadth of games on that system, it's my favorite console, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say. For a long time, I felt like the SNES was their best, but I think it surpassed. You know what? You know what did it for me? F-Zero 99. That's when I was like, "Yep, it's the GOAT." You gave me that fever dream that I laid out on the Shackcast to you multiple times, David. When you asked me the question, "What could they do with the F-Zero franchise?" Asif, I literally explained it to you.
Yeah.
And then years later, because at the time Reggie had my house wiretapped, they made it. So yeah, F-Zero 99 was that thing that pushed it over the goal line for me, where I was like, "Yep, this is the GOAT." And yeah, I agree. I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, one of the best Mario Karts ever.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild's the best Zelda game. Yeah.
Are we crazy, Donovan? Is this out there?
As you guys have been saying, I've been wrestling with it in my mind because for me, it's either the Switch and then obviously my 2000s nostalgia. My childhood points to the DS and that whole line
Yeah.
of games. I'm just like, and it's to this day we talk about in the show. It's still the big blind spot of like games to be ported either through remasters or even just a Switch Online expansion. Is the DS and 3DS era, right? Where still every day on my For You page, I see screenshots of people playing old Pokemon games on DS, still trying to get shinies and Soul Silver and Heart Gold, or people playing like Dragon Quest 9 back on the DS. Like all these games that just have never made it over, that didn't even come to Wii U, let alone the Switch. So for me, those are in close contention. I think my brain tells me the Switch it's the best all around console. Like you said, David, you could do everything. You could play Dark Souls on it and then go play a Mario platformer. Whereas the DS was it didn't have that big of a variety of games, but I mean, just I don't know. The first party stuff on those games still speak to my soul in a very special way. But
And you had the Game Boy Advance games on DS too.
Yeah.
Just plugging them right into the bottom of that DS and the DS Lite was the coolest thing ever to me.
And Elite Beat Agents.
That's true.
There you go.
That's true.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
that game's great, Donovan. You know that the whole that song, the 24th of September, it's featured in Elite Beat Agents. So on that day, that meme day, I posted the video to our Discord because people need to respect Elite Beat Agents and also Flash Focus and Brain Training and like so many wonderful games, man.
Yes.
Like they made so many unique gaming experiences on the DS. I think that's a very good point you bring up. That is the one.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that at the time of this recording, that's still the number one best-selling console at Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
I have a feeling that the Switch may have outsold it in this last quarter. We'll see.
You know what's wild is there was a DS Virtual Console on the Wii U. They didn't do much with it, but they like started to let those games trickle out. So I think they could come to Nintendo Switch Online.
That's right, because the Wii did that thing where it would just put the screens side by side, right, horizontally.
Yeah,
because that was the dual screen thing. Yeah.
And that's what they did.
That's the thing people always question how they handle.
They did it with the Dominus collection last year too, with that the Castlevania. Yeah. So like there's a way. And man, is there a will?
Yeah.
We want those games. I thought it was funny when like I can't remember if it was Big Brain Academy. It was one of the brain training games. It only got ported to Japan on the Switch, and I was like, does Nintendo think Americans are too stupid for this game now? Like, is that? I feel bad,
dude. I loved Brain Age on DS. That's another game that like my parents would play.
Yeah,
where they would be like, "What do we have for dinner Tuesday night?" And it's like, I don't know, and or the mini games where it'd be like, what color is this word? And the text would say red, and then the color of the font would be like green.
Yes.
All of those, the matching games. Yeah. Brain Age was
Multiplication
awesome.
or addition battles.
Yeah.
Like the math battle.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. My brother and I spent an entire WWE pay-per-view squaring off in calculation battles. We were getting down to like millisecond differences in time. But that was so fun.
Outstanding games. Yeah, I think that's a good point you bring up, Donovan. You know what the Switch 2 has that the Switch doesn't?
2 USB ports?
EA Sports games. Like Madden. And that's how you segue. Did you hear the news, guys?
I did. I did hear the news.
Donovan wrote the news today. I wrote the rumor on Friday, and I made a vertical video explaining it to people who still didn't understand what I was telling them. So here I am again. Electronic Arts is being taken private in a $55 billion leveraged buyout deal in which Silver Lake, the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, and some other company run by Donald Trump's son-in-law. What's that company called, Donovan?
Affinity Partners, and yes, that's Jared Kushner, who was Trump's advisor during his first term and is married to his daughter. So yeah, his son-in-law.
Ivanka's husband?
Yeah, that's the one.
So they are going private. That means that this is right now it's a publicly traded company. EA, it's the stock symbol is EA, right? The stock was trading like in the 150s or 170s before this news came out. The deal is going to close at $210 a share. This is crazy. This is the largest leveraged buyout in the history of the stock market. So for folks at home, a leveraged buyout means that the companies acquiring EA are issuing debt to do it. And they're using the assets at EA to justify the debt, like to as collateral for the debt. It's a way to buy a company without actually spending cash. Like maybe some cash, but less than you would have had to otherwise. It's kind of interesting. $55 billion for Electronic Arts. You know, this is a company that makes Madden, FIFA, or FC these days. Obviously NHL.
Got a Battlefield coming out in weeks.
Battlefield.
Huge release.
Apex Legends. Plants vs. Zombies.
The Sims.
The Sims.
Which I've heard some concerning takes about how this might affect that franchise.
Dragon Age. The BioWare games, Mass Effect. This is a huge, huge, huge deal. I don't know what to think. I'm calling this the Thelma and Louise stock market because it's just the market and the administration are holding hands and they're just going to drive off the cliff together. So we'll see what happens here. But this is why you don't short stocks, because you could have been short EA on Monday and down like 30 to 40% a week later. That's scary. But also it just shows you there's like a huge appetite for this entertainment medium. Video games are the most profitable entertainment medium globally. And I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. This is also part of like Saudi Arabia's diversification away from energy, right? Like they're the largest oil holders in the world. And they seem to be buying up everything they can to make people think differently about them, right? They'll hand The Rock $100 million, David, to headline WrestleMania in 2 years or whatever. They paid God knows how much money to all those golfers, Donovan, in the last few years. The Live Golf Tour. These are guaranteed contracts of $100, $200, $300 million. I think Cristiano Ronaldo got some like crazy, nearly $1 billion deal to go play soccer over there.
And they put him in SNK.
Yeah, he's in Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves for some reason, which SNK is owned by the Public Investment Fund, or a subsidiary of the Public Investment Fund. So this is a trend. it felt like in the first part of this decade, because now we're entering the second part of this decade, right? The first part of this decade, the boogeyman in gaming was Tencent and China, right? Oh, Tencent's buying Riot. Tencent owns 40% of this. Tencent owns that. Tencent bought this. And now it's this era is the Saudis are buying everything. And it's called sports washing in some cases when it comes to what they're doing in entertainment and sports. But they're like have this Riyadh season thing that they're really pushing. This is off topic a little, but we're talking about the Saudi Arabian government. There's like a comedy festival that's happening that like Bill Burr and a bunch of famous Americans are going to be going to. It's just a lot of money. So it's what I find strange about this. Saudi Arabia has more money than they could ever spend. Why are they doing a leveraged buyout here? They don't need to do that. It's kind of weird. But, they're doing it in partnership with Silver Lake and Jabuffer Jones Company. So, like, I get it. But very strange that they're levering it up. And, like, I think I've seen a lot of people asking, like, what does this mean for Electronic Arts going forward? It means that the company is going to have more debt on its balance sheet at the close of this deal than it does right now. And then they're going to have to pay back that debt either through the cash flows of the company that already exist, or, stop me if you've heard this before, through cost-cutting measures, right? They're going to shut down studios, they're going to fire people, they're going to outsource things in the interest of improving their profit margin so they can pay down the debt. Why do companies do leveraged buyouts? Most of the time, it's so that they can get something, make it more efficient, and then flip it back to the market. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Electronic Arts back as a publicly traded company sometime down the road. That's the only way that these companies are really going to make any money off of it, right? Is to sell it to someone else. So, is this good? I don't know. I don't think so.
I cannot look at a headline that says one of the biggest publishers in gaming will be owned by the evil Saudi Arabian government and literally Donald Trump's son-in-law and think that it's even remotely good for anybody involved.
No, and
hard to not be upset about that headline now.
And when you're a private company, you have less regulations. You're not being scrutinized on a quarterly basis. You don't have to report your earnings to anyone anymore. There's no spotlight being put on your operations. So they can just fire everyone they want. They can do whatever they want and get away with it. There's not going to be anyone to stop them. And I just think it's important to note that, like, this is like a vector to get involved in the NFL, right? Madden is a huge exclusive deal. FC, you already see what's going on with how soccer is being impacted by the public investment fund. So, like, do I think that EA's business practices are going to suddenly improve because of this? No. But if you were a shareholder last week, you're probably happy. You made a bunch of money. And we can move on because, like, I don't think we need to dwell on this. I'm gonna talk about this on Game Trader Live, literally on Tuesday the 30th. So if you want a more in-depth breakdown of what happened, go watch that on our YouTube channel as well. But, like, I think a lack of scrutiny for one of these companies that has exclusive content deals with some of the biggest leagues in sports in America, I think this is a bad thing. Ultimately, I think this will be bad for consumers, and it's troubling, man. Like, but I guess my question is, if EA is worth $55 billion, and I say worth, it's valued in this deal. It's valued at $55 billion. And Activision Blizzard was valued at $69 billion by Microsoft, right? What the fuck is Nintendo worth? What's the real value of Nintendo's IP?
A lot of billions of dollars, I would imagine.
I asked that question. I was chatting with our managing editor Bill Lavoie, also Shackmap's overlord. And my conclusion was just more.
Yeah. It's
More.
just it's hard to imagine there being a price tag on Mario or Pokemon or Zelda. Like it doesn't even feel like a real thing. There's no number I could hear or say that would be like that sounds about right. Um, because they just all seem invaluable to gaming as a medium. Um,
And
so yeah, that's
I
something
mentioned
comes
it
up.
before when we talked about, I can't remember who we were talking about at the time. It might have been, I don't know. We were talking about Saudi on this show, and Nintendo has a poison pill provision in their at their company where if a hostile takeover is going on, Nintendo can just keep issuing shares to dilute the shares to prevent the takeover. So
Hmm.
when Saudi announced that their stake was getting close to 10% of Nintendo stock, Nintendo announced that. And since then, they have decreased their shares of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Obviously, they made a bunch of money off of it too. But I think Nintendo being independent is very important. And that's probably why we won't see it trade at these crazy valuations. But right now, at the current valuation, Nintendo is trading for $100 billion, which doesn't seem that crazy. You know, in a world where you have trillion-dollar companies, Disney's worth almost 200 billion. I think Netflix is worth a lot of money like that. You look at the IP war chest at Nintendo. My answer would just be probably more. But it's are we going to see other third parties have this happen?
I mean, I think Ubisoft would be the one to watch, right? We've talked about them being an acquisition target multiple times in the past.
Yeah.
That would not surprise me. And they've even almost like set themselves up for it with like spinning off Assassin's Creed and like Tom Clancy into a different company or whatever the hell they did last year. So, or maybe that was earlier this year.
It was earlier.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it was earlier this year. Yeah, Ubisoft, because they're kind of falling under hard times, not that crazy. I believe it's only like around a 2 billion valuation right now. So that's chump change for any of these companies. Apple could
Yeah.
buy them, Google could buy them, Microsoft could buy them. Hell, Take-Two could buy them. Take-Two could literally buy Ubisoft. The one that came to mind though, Donovan, was Take-Two. Because
Nightmare scenario.
well,
Please no.
going back to like the whole sports washing thing, 2K, WWE, and NBA, right?
Yeah.
That'd be an infinity gauntlet for the PIF. I
When
don't.
you get a little franchise called Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, by the way. Oh, by the way, you
yeah,
also get
little cherry
GTA.
on top.
A little GTA kicker, and you get a Gearbox. But yeah, yeah, that would be the world would melt down. The gamer discourse would melt down if that happened. But
Yeah.
I can't help but look at Take-Two as like the next crown jewel of third party developers out there. The other one I think of is CD Projekt Red. I think that they are another. They're it's like that the Ralph Wiggum on the bus, like the I'm in danger gif. I just
Yeah.
it's just it's a thought that I had this weekend. Is I know that Nintendo's not next, but who is? Because it doesn't seem like this is the end of something. It seems like this is just an escalation of things. But yeah, so EA going private. Watch Game Trader Live for a more nuanced take on the financial ramifications of this. But yeah, interesting news. Obviously, Donovan and I played Madden on Switch too. It's a game. It's in the game. EA Sports. Yeah, EA Sports washing. It's in Saudi Arabia. Anyway, on to better and more fun news. So last week, I shit all over Daft Punk skins in Fortnite, okay? And I still hate skins in Fortnite, Donovan, okay? Here's
That event did make you want to get one of those skins a little bit more.
Not even for a second. Not even for 1 second.
Daft Punk, you can wear the jacket. You can do the dance and the emote.
I don't know how this happened, okay? But I installed, I got this new PC. I'm talking to you guys on it right now. I'm 4K as hell. I got this new microphone. It doesn't sound like ass. I got this fancy 5090 GPU that sounds like a lawnmower when you start Fortnite up. I have an Alan Wake skin.
Yes, because when they launched Alan Wake 2, it was an Epic Games Store exclusive. So I think all you had to do was like be logged into the store during like a 3 month window when that came out, and they just gave you it for free in Fortnite because Epic Games published.
Got it. So Alan Wake attended the Daft Punk special event, you guys, and it was great. He had a great time. I showed you guys the video before we went live. I'll say this. I love electronic music. I love electronic music more than I love video games. I love electronic music more than I love Swenson's Drive-In, David. I love electronic music. Like, it makes me go. So, like, seeing the biggest game of all time, I would argue. Like, I think Fortnite might be, it's one of them, at least.
Yeah.
Seeing them have this event focused around electronic music, and not just electronic music, but like one of the most iconic electronic music groups of all time, and making like a interactive introduction to it that uses this song Control, it's beautiful, man. It was a beautiful thing that they did, and it's so cool. I love how they handle events in this game. They are moments. Like, you want to be there. You want to see it. You want to experience it yourself. And it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I think it's amazing. And it's just like, I'm talking broadly about techno or electronic music, but like techno in general, it never went away. Techno has its moments in time where it's popular and less popular and stuff, but like, techno's never been more popular than right now, which is interesting to me. Because you see it's influenced pop music, it's influenced hip-hop, like, every kind of aspect of music production has been influenced by electronic music and techno specifically. So to see, like, some of my electronic musician heroes have this special thing happen was really cool. When you land, like, the event is crazy because it's like a Winamp visualization, David. It's like an interactive Winamp visualization, which, like, you were around in the early 2000s. You were staring at your Winamp visualization, right?
Oh, yeah.
That was like a pastime for us olds, Donovan, when you were still playing whatever GameCube game you were playing. But, like, we would just sit there and stare at our computer monitors while, like, lines and things would show up on the screen to the beat.
I remember that being a thing.
Yeah, It was very much a thing. Even Windows Media Player ended up stealing it, right, David? Like, as Microsoft tends to do.
Yeah.
But, like...
That's probably where I saw it.
Yeah, of course, it was free. But, and even early on, it was free for Winamp. It really whipped the llama's ass. But yeah, this was cool as hell, because you, like, get to the end of this intro, you land on this planet, and there's this, like, sparkly thing there. You go pick it up, and it's the head of one of the members of Daft Punk. It's his helmet, and you put it on, and it teleports you into that new experience, which is literally... Last week, I was talking about how much I regretted not being able to go to Alive 2007. Well, they literally put Alive 2007 in Fortnite. Like, you walk in, and it's this giant pyramid stage, and they have these holograms dancing around the pyramid stage. So, like, the One More Time song comes on, and it's the characters that are in that music video. When you're around the world, there's, like, if you've ever seen that iconic music video for Around the World, like, those people are walking above the pyramid. It was an outstanding visual presentation, and it was just fun, like, dancing with people in a virtual environment. I'll say this about Fortnite. It's the closest we are to Ready Player One or a metaverse than we've ever been. It's like getting there. And yes, it's still a video game. But those moments are cool and inspiring. And I really applaud Epic Games for doing things like this. It made me play the game. I haven't played Fortnite in like over a year. So for me, like, I installed it 2 weeks ago just because I was like, hey, I have it. I finally have a computer that is like fast enough to run, at highest settings. Because I know it's a UE5 game that's actually well optimized, which is rare in 2025. But yeah, it got me playing it. So the festival itself was cool. But then there's also this Robot Rock Arena game mode that's cool as hell. It's like a wave-based shooter, third-person style.
Yeah.
You switch between a red gun and a blue gun depending on the enemies. The red gun is like hi-hat and drums, and the blue gun, it like shoots out vocals. So it's like you have this like instrumental version of whatever song, harder, better, faster, stronger, television or whatever, and like depending on what gun you're shooting, it affects the sound that you're hearing. Very unique and cool. We're probably gonna stream it this week, Donovan. I'm gonna make people play Fortnite with me. Because I got to level 10. Got like level 10 out of 20. Have you played any of this yet, Donovan?
I have not. I watched some of it over the weekend, but I haven't jumped into that one myself yet.
I got basically by myself and hard carrying this random Jaboofer that joined me in the wave-based shooter. I got to wave 10 out of 20. I got 20 million points in the process. It's like a high score. Yeah, I think we can get to 20 if we play together. Maybe we get one or two more other people in there with us. But I absolutely loved it. I'll probably be playing Robot Rock Arena tonight. I like it more than Fortnite. I like any of the modes in Fortnite that don't involve me building. I hate building in Fortnite. So no build is cool. Yeah.
To Epic Games' credit, they've done a fantastic job at addressing that issue because I think that's probably the largest concern anybody has about Fortnite. Even my friends used to play it with me when I'm like, oh, we should go back. They're like, I don't want to build against the 12-year-olds that are flicking the mouse around and whatnot. But yeah, they've got zero build. All the user-generated content. Epic has themselves developed multiple in-house modes that don't use building. And I think to me, the defining trait of Fortnite, once it's all said and done, once the game eventually goes offline, because every game will eventually end and everything will stop at some point, the defining trait of that game to me will be the live events.
Yeah.
It'll be watching the meteor crash and hit the island in real time with thousands of people around the world. I think that was 2018 or 19.
Or the rocket, when the rocket pierced the sky.
Yeah, and watching the sky crack open and the new season starting and everybody at once being like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Or the Travis Scott concert where he just debuts a new song with Kid Cudi in the game and everyone's like, is this a new song? Ariana Grande, Eminem turning into Godzilla. There's a trait to Epic Games, and I think they share this with Riot Games, where you can say what you want about like it's crossover slop and it's like just trend riding and whatnot. But like when they put their full resources and their insanely large wallet behind like an idea or a concept, they nail it. There's a standard of quality that they just hit when they like get their hands on an IP or an artist and they're like, we just want to create something that your fans would love. They always deliver. It might not be like your cup of tea, but they just, as soon as they said they're doing a Daft Punk thing, I ran to Slack with it because I was like, oh, look at this. I knew it wasn't going to be like some random half-assed bullshit because it's just not how they handled their collaboration. So I'm glad to hear it was fun. I got to jump in with you soon.
Yeah, it is. Alive 2007 is quite possibly the perfect electronic music set. The transitions are inspired and amazing, and it's two maestros at their peak. So that was cool. And then we can wrap it up, but like the part with the helmet when you're on that planet, that's literally where they announced that they were breaking up. It was a video for Control where one of the members explodes at the end of the video. And that was like the end, right? At the time, it wasn't the end, but in their headcanon, that was the end. To take their helmet and put it on it was such a great fan service moment. And that's what you were talking about, Don. And they do right by the fans of these musicians every single time. Mm. And I want to think that Harmonix has something to do with this Robot Rock Arena thing, because it is very inspired by those rhythm-based games, and that's cool. All the robots move to the beat kind of thing. Like it's interesting, man. So yeah.
Well, there's going to be one more part to that, because in the original blog post announcement, they were like, there's an encore thing that you'll learn more about in the future. So there's another shoe to drop with that collaboration.
I have played Fortnite 2 consecutive days because of this. And I will tell you, I'm probably going to play it tonight. I like Robot Rock Arena. It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Game is free. All this is free. I tweeted it out.
You...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say you, and by you I mean anyone watching this can go to the Shacknews YouTube channel and watch the deliberation video for best ongoing game. I think the last 4 to 5 years running. I skipped it last year because I gave up. But this is the argument I make
Okay,
every year at the those deliberations.
I had the
Fortnite.
cape for F-099 last year. It was probably the only time I was going to have a chance to give that award. I will vote.
Yeah.
I will, you don't even have to do it. I'll nominate Fortnite for best
Wow,
ongoing
okay.
game.
Damn.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. It wasn't nominated in 2024. I took a vow of silence last year for that. I think it was 2023. It lost to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I'll keep my thoughts to myself. 2022, I don't know. It was probably Destiny or something. 21, I don't know. But I had a few years running there where I tried to
I'll give
preach
it.
the
It's
preach the
it's really in good shape right now. I think what they've done with like the Fortnite, like build in Fortnite thing, like they've just done so much to that game. It's kind of crazy. And like I said, I do think it's the closest we'll get to the metaverse. Like it is a metaverse at least. It is like a place to gather with your friends online and experience things that aren't just gaming. It's interesting in
Yeah,
that sense.
it's them and I guess Roblox is the only other one you put up there. And then you've got whatever the hell Meta's doing with those weird, uncanny looking characters that float around in empty
Yeah.
warehouses.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just bummed out that Alan Wake got to attend a live 2007 and I didn't. But like also kind of happy for Alan Wake that he got to go to the concert.
It's fitting for Alan Wake. He usually finds himself in places that
right?
he's not sure how or why he's there.
It was just so funny because I mentioned last week I have like the NFL jersey skin. That's like the only one I've ever bought.
Yeah.
So like I fire up Fortnite and I'm like, NFL jersey for the concert or Alan Wake? Oh, okay, I'll be Alan Wake. So if you want to watch Alan Wake party hop, I don't have many emotes, Donovan, either. Do you have to buy those too?
Yeah, or you get them through the battle pass or events and stuff. A lot of events give you free emotes and stuff. It's
Anyway, I have 2 emotes and 2 skins, one of which I didn't pay for. So shout out to Epic Game Store for giving me Alan Wake so I didn't look like a total jaboofer at the concert. It was funny, like, from behind, my brother was like, is that John Wick? Are you John Wick right now? I'm like, no, I'm not John Wick.
I thought it was John Wick too. When I started watching your clip, because I'm immediately like, well, I know Asa doesn't have a skin, so who is he? And I was like, he wouldn't have the John Wick skin because you had to buy that one. And I'm like, oh, it's the Alan Wake Epic Games person. There you go. Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Look, it's 2025 and I'm playing Fortnite. So I would say that that's a success. That is a success for this event. And yeah, I'm a purveyor of fine electronic music. This had the inverse impact where I played the mode and then I was doing dishes like last night. And I just threw on a live 2007 and just listened to the whole concert. It's great. Mm-hmm. So go on YouTube, go to Daft Punk's YouTube, go listen to their music. It's wonderful. I do think we're going to get some kind of Pharrell Get Lucky moment at some point during this. Like that seems likely. Because that is like one of their most iconic songs from Random Access Memories, which won a Grammy, by the way. Before we go, Thursday night, Nintendo tweeted something from their Japanese corporate Twitter account. They announced a mobile game like 2 hours after the state of play from their corporate Twitter account. It's called Fire Emblem Shadows. It's described as a tactical game of treachery. It's like Among Us meets Final Fantasy Tactics in a Fire Emblem game, but it's single player.
Yeah. That was what I was going to say. I was like, you ever wanted to play Among Us offline?
No!
And completely remove the only thing that makes that game compelling?
No!
Yeah.
I don't want any of this.
Fire Emblem Shadows, you play against the CPU enemies. And you're still doing like the tactic. I think it's like an auto battler, so you're kind of fighting. You're more so just sending things out to fight. But yeah, it's like one of the CPU characters is secretly like the shadow character, and you've got to like figure it out who it is during the battle. And guessing right gives you like these advantages in battles, and guessing wrong gives you disadvantages. But you're playing against the CPU.
No,
that's the whole point of social deception games, is that they're fun because you play with friends are random people and you try to lie to each other the best. But in this one, you're just playing against the house.
Is this like a male
weird.
loneliness epidemic game? Like, what is this?
Fire Emblem's not a bad IP to try to solve that with. I think the weird thing to me is like Fire Emblem's been on mobile before. Like Fire Emblem Heroes was like
Popular.
worth its salt as a mobile game. Yeah, people like that game.
Yeah.
The game did well.
It's
So
actually
for the
still
follow-up
out.
To be, yeah, people still play Heroes, but for this to just be, it tells you everything. The way they announced it, right? That this was tweeted out and released simultaneously. Not even like in a direct. Didn't even get like a proper like announcement video or anything. It's just kind of like.
I will say this: the
This is live.
trailer was posted to everyone's favorite mobile app, Nintendo Today.
Of course, no.
But I am afraid to do anything capturing that app anymore because they have been very copyright strikey with that app. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just avoid that trailer. I discovered a brand new YouTube channel from Nintendo. I didn't even know existed. It's called Nintendo Mobile. Did you know that was a channel?
No.
Yeah.
I did not know that until just now.
Yeah, that's a YouTube channel. That's a YouTube channel that exists. They post English and Japanese trailers there. I don't know why, but it exists. So I found the trailer and I posted it to Shacknews social media for the people. I had to do it for the people who needed to know about this. But anyway, it was Nintendo news that was handled in the most corporate way possible. Like, that was definitely a TGS thing. They're like, we need something to do on TGS, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, 50 minutes after that awesome Marvel Wolverine trailer drops, here comes this mobile-ass... I don't give a fuck about Fire Emblem. So it's like Fire Emblem, and I'm like, oh, a Fire Emblem Tactics mobile game with Among Us mechanics, single player? Boy, that's a giant pile of I don't give a fuck. But man, that was certainly an announcement from Nintendo last week.
I'm just continuously confused by their mobile strategy because I believe this is their first published mobile game since like 2019. Like they had that quote where they said we were going to still make them. And for their first one, after 6 years, to just be this Fire Emblem game, they just like crapped out on a Thursday night that had like zero fanfare or love or hype given to it at all.
Yeah.
It's just so bizarre.
And it's Dina making it, right? So they're...
Them and Intelligent Systems.
Yeah. So enjoy, whoever that's for. Not for me. But I'm not going to be mad at it. I still maintain that Nintendo Music might be the best app they've ever made. Like, I think it's great.
Probably.
I actually use it. It gets me, like we talked about last year, like it got me playing Animal Crossing again because I was listening to Animal Crossing music. And then vice versa, like I think it was a great way to get people excited for Galaxy. And now Galaxy's coming out. Like, I think there's a way for them to promote their IP using that app. Nintendo Today has not really been a success. And the Switch app is better than it used to be. So there's that. Mm-hmm. But I think Nintendo Music's the best thing they've done on mobile. And I don't think it's even close. I didn't like Mario Run very much. I hated Mario Kart Tour. And these Fire Emblem games are not for me. Pikmin Bloom's kind of cute. I don't mind that one. And then it wasn't really them, but Pokemon Go obviously is
the one.
This is the one.
It's the one, yeah.
And that gave some oxygen to the company in 2016 when they were really struggling. But yeah. Didn't want to get through the end of this episode without mentioning that very important news. But yeah, I think that's it for now. We are going to have another episode this week. We have Ozzy Mejia dropped his review for Hades 2. It's very long. It's like 2,600 words. It's Ozzy's first 10 he's ever given at Shacknews. So
Mario Galaxy was my first 10.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bangers. What an amazing year for video games, guys. When starting to look back at this year,
yeah.
There's some really awesome games. Like, awesome games came out this year. Even best indie of this year, to have Hollow Knight versus Hades 2 is going to be a...
And could I interest you in an Expedition 33?
There you go.
Rifle Interactive Indie.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's Donkey Kong, there's Mario Kart World, there's Sonic as a game. No, look, Sonic Racing Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is good. Apparently, there's a werewolf Sonic in that game. I need to play more of it.
You're also thinking like Unleashed, Sonic Unleashed, I believe, where he had that like weird night form where he became like a werewolf.
Yeah. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, like, follow, and subscribe. We are on all those different podcast platforms. If we're not on a podcast platform that you like, I don't know. I checked all the boxes I could over there at Podbean, which is our distributor. But yeah, we'll have the audio podcast going live with the video podcast. Thank you for reviewing Mario Galaxy 1+2, David. I was tempted, but I reminded myself that I still haven't reviewed Mario Kart World. By the way, there's a big ass patch that dropped for that game. Maybe we'll go into that on the next episode a little bit, because like I want to play it and have some more time with it. But it fixed one of the biggest problems, which was those lap-based tracks in versus mode. It's now, you're more likely to get those than you were in the past. There's some other tweaks. I've watched several of the those fantastic YouTubers in the Mario Kart scene break it down. But yeah, it's actually a good patch, the 1.3 patch, which dropped the same day as Crossworld's release date. So here we are, console warriors, with one console and a blue guy who doesn't have a console anymore. But yeah, here we are, Nintendo and Sega kind of beefing again for no good reason. But we'll talk about that more on the next episode. So that'll do it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye!